Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there. Hello, everyone. As promised, we're back. This time to talk Daredevil Born Again Episode 2. That's right, me, Lilith, and again, special guest, again, Mr. Greg Wright. What's up, dude, bro?
Good. You know what? It's funny. I did a quick little rewatch of the second episode real quick, so I refreshed myself because
Nice.
the first episode, because I kind of jammed the other two together. So now I understand what the separation is. So.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, we even mentioned last time the first episode was it Heaven's Half Hour, and then episode 2 is Optics. Because
now we're getting into politics, my favorite part.
The new mayor, yes. Although, so we get a little bit of him in the beginning, but then we get the whole that whole subway incident.
I think this one flowed a little better because it only had one director, whereas the first one had two. And also, Michael Cuesta is like, he's really in touch with the showrunner.
And again, too, stuff like this, I'm always just like, okay, what's we had to set up a lot of stuff in episode 1, but now we're kind of in it now and just can do what they do.
Corrupt cops, man.
Yeah, I thought this episode was way stronger. I probably exactly what you're saying, because the setup part was done. That the opening subway scene fight was fantastic. Because I did not expect things to go quite where they went on that, which immediately sets up. We get to see Matt Murdock doing his actual Matt Murdock-y stuff, but still using his Daredevil powers to, figure out. Now, I do want to defend this guy, I thought that it was really nice and tight with, because I didn't expect a lot of the stuff that was happening in episode 2, which is something I always enjoy. And again, now I'm past whatever preconceived notions that I had for the series. Okay, the first episode, now I'm comfortable, and that was really good. But yeah, I rewatched that subway thing between our break, and I was like, this is really well done, because like when the cop bites it, I was like, I gasped. I wasn't expecting that. And then NYPD, I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, talk about catching a train.
I was not expecting the White Tiger Easter egg to pay off either A, period, or B so quickly. So.
Oh yeah, when they mentioned him in the first episode, like on the news or whatever.
The background of the TV, fighting.
But I like that, because you would have forgotten about it, until that. And again, we've seen footage, so we know he's coming back later. Again, don't show us that now. Now we know they're not going to kill him. At least not yet.
Yeah. I guess that's a fine line. It's with the modern day, you have to like catch an audience's interest, but it's like, I want to say they want to try to reveal everything, but a lot of times you see most of the story in like a trailer or something.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I still remember going to see The Empire Strikes Back, and all of a sudden Darth Vader saying, "No, I am your father." And I almost shat my pants. I couldn't believe what I just heard. I'm like, what? And Luke, of course, is like, no, it's not true. That's not possible. But at that moment, I was like, oh my God, because there wasn't anything to spoil it for you. And I love being surprised. It's like in Avengers Endgame, when all of a sudden Cap has the hammer and then he's running and swinging, and the whole audience is losing their minds because Captain America can hold Thor's hammer and is using it against Thanos. And I mean, even now when I watch that scene, I'm like, that's so great.
I can watch that.
I love surprises.
Oh yeah, that's the annoy the wife scene. I'm just like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it.
It's funny because it's true.
And then yes, Mayor Fisk cuts through some red tape to get a pothole filled. That looks like the potholes in Pittsburgh. You know that.
I mean, it's the Northeast.
Oh,
All that
man.
snow, salt, snow
I
tires.
grew up in Western Pennsylvania, and there's no place with worse potholes.
Oh no, yeah. But
It's
that
like
thing
we
was
like
actually
to have a
enter
word with
Pennsylvania
you.
from Jersey, and you're like,
yeah. But that hole was so big. I was like, okay, is that like crumbling infrastructure, or is
Of
that?
course it is.
I didn't know if that was
Because
like
everything's corrupt, so they don't have money to go to the appropriate place. Thus, you never get the permit. You see.
I figured that was the case, but I'm like, it's the Marvel universe. I'm like, could that have been like the aftermath of some fight or something?
and
And
why
I
was
was like, that
damage
looks like a
control not
Hulk
there?
fist.
Yeah, where's damage control? So it probably wasn't. Yeah. Or
Well,
unless
that's a good use of power. Fill that damn pothole now. You've got the stuff on the truck.
Now that's how you use your power. I totally agree.
You know, but that's what we want. You know, this is how we wound up in situations we are now. We want immediate results. You know,
Yeah, he cut
we're
through
no
the
longer
red tape. Maybe there was a reason why they hadn't had the permit
right.
given
You know,
to
it's
them
like
yet.
you know, we got 2 episodes of Daredevil because we're greedy. We could have waited to watch it till tomorrow, but there it was.
Please, my
So no
friend.
chance.
optics. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, now you mention it. I mean, Fisk could have had someone like create that hole the night before, and then it's like have the permit, it all tangled in red tape, so he has to come in and be like, oh yeah, fill this hole.
As we see, he's
That
a
would
real
be a
Walter
good
White
story
type.
thing, though. If you found out later that he did do that, that would be cool. I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. I like that. Who came up with that?
I mean, that could turn the tide of the New York voter. It's like, oh yeah, no, he created the hole that caused that traffic jam. But yeah, we got. Oh, and then Matt insists that that the firm represents Hector, the White Tiger.
It's like meanwhile, she's like, McDuffie's like, you're not gonna drive this law firm into the ground like you did the other one. We're not representing just any old ragamuffin for free around here.
Yes, we are.
You should have been like, I didn't drive the law firm in the ground.
Going against the cops? Oh man.
Oh yeah, New York, yeah.
Yikes.
And that's before they even discover he's the White Tiger.
Yeah.
But again, this is also from the comics. This was from Brian Michael Bendis's run. So, but yeah, I saw it. Yeah, like you were saying, Lilith. I saw him when they mentioned him in episode 1. I'm like, are we going there? And then the episode 2, I'm like, yep, we're going there.
I thought it was just an Easter egg. I was like, there's no way we're doing that. Oh, we're doing it.
I mean, unless maybe we'll get a White Tiger. Well, depending how this turns out, yes, maybe we'll get a White Tiger series at some point.
Depends on how
he's got a better
people react
chance
to
in
him.
that Bad Bunny Spider-Man movies.
Oh no! Oh Lord! I don't know.
What?
I mean, well, eventually someone else takes over as the White Tiger.
Yes. Oh, well, see, and I saw the pictures, and it looks like he has a younger sister.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Well, he's got his niece and then he's got his younger sister in the comics that take over the mantles for him. But in those pictures in the apartment, I saw it looked like a younger sister. I don't think the wife will take over for him.
I was gonna say,
I
thought maybe they were just give it to BB Urich or something.
Ooh, but I think she likes being a YouTube /podcaster. A little. She likes to be. She fancies herself an operator. I hope it doesn't get her killed.
That's what we need. A podcast. We need a podcasting superhero, Lilith. Come on.
Well, if you watched Cobra Kai, that the bad girl in it, she was a podcasting poster that did stuff. And I didn't realize she does. That's what she does in real life. She's got a thing, but man, is she a badass? Like, how did any of those kids on Cobra Kai fight with her? Because I'm like, did they speed her up on this footage and I'm watching her fight? Nope.
Oh, and then the whole thing with the police commissioner, telling Fisk.
Oh, cop politics. Listen, as a longtime viewer of propaganda, like SVU, I love a good cop shenanigan. I love a good commissioner, hard-nosed commissioner.
I'm stealing that word, propaganda.
I'm all about the Dick Wolfiverse.
That's a good one.
Age.
But yeah, I mean, I would at least like all the cops aren't, pro Fisk. The commissioner's like, I know who you are. I'm assuming it was like a callback, probably to the Netflix series. Like, I remember you got cops killed and stuff. So, but then Mayor Fisk threatens to cut all their like funding and more often.
No. He threatens his illegitimate child, and he says, "And to keep this secret, you ain't getting nothing." He ain't getting nothing. I was like, "There's the man I know and love. There he is." That didn't take too long.
I'm trying to think if I missed something, but when she comes into the office to talk to him about the firefighter and stuff, and he's sitting at the desk, and you see his knuckles are all banged up. Did we miss? There was no scene where he was beating somebody or punching anything, was there?
We're gonna have a flashback to that.
Yeah, they'll probably fill that in later, maybe.
I wonder what he was doing there. Because like he's, my guess is maybe he's working out and punching and stuff.
Punching somebody.
There's no way that he's just able to control himself.
Yeah, I forget. Was it him or I thought there was one scene I thought he was going to hit something, but he didn't.
And they were asking to touch up his eye and stuff. I'm just like, okay, something's.
That was great. I wish there was more of that scar from where he got shot in the face, because there would be. But I like these. Like, no, I don't want to touch that. But that was a good bit. I like these little bits that call back to their shows, but it wasn't big enough to.
Yeah, I do like the callback to the original series, like season 1. I forget if it was the first episode or this one, when someone's like, I heard a rumor he crushed a guy's head.
Yeah, I think that was this one where she's giving the talks on the street. And I kind of like how the talks on the street kind of are filling in the gaps of like the loss of Daredevil, the aftermath. But I'm like, it's Marvel's New York. There's literally a hero on every corner. So it's so weird.
Yeah, but I think like the street level heroes, people are going to notice that more because they're more like hands on. It's like, well, we haven't seen Thor in like 6 years. Oh, he's off on some other planet, or.
But even street level, we have so many.
Yeah. I mean, Daredevil, Spider-Man.
Well, like neighborhood, like Daredevil was bad at his job. So like this one group of people would see him. That was the thing, in Miller's run, in Nascenti's run, in Chichester's run, in My Little Run. He kind of stayed in the same place. He wasn't showing up everywhere. So the people did know him. He would show up in costume in a bar and have a beer. So people in the neighborhood, they knew this guy, which is why they're, but like the whole city wouldn't notice. Daredevil's he can't take care of the whole city. He can take care of this, couple blocks here and there. Spider-Man was a little more visual because he's a guy zooming, flying around. But Daredevil's not usually out there in the daytime bouncing around.
Yeah.
I mean, we did get those quick little shout outs from Mayor Fisk, guy dressed like a spider, or a guy with a skull on his chest.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which I like that because it lets you know, okay, this is happening in the MCU.
All right, I want the writer's opinion. So why is Matt like playing with the little horn off his mask? Is that
he wants to get back in the suit?
I know. Is that the inner turmoil? He's just like,
Yeah, I think he likes, he's kind of addicted to being Daredevil. I mean, by the end of the episode, you can feel, it's the same thing as Fisk. He's got this stuff boiling inside of him, and it's an effort to keep it in, and that, so yeah, I mean, it was a little hokey when Karen gave it to him. It's like, why would you pick this up and give it to him? But it's sort of like, you can't help it. Fisk can't help but be who he is. Matt Murdock can't help but be who he is, which is why, he'll bankrupt his firm. He just can't help. Let me take on this client that's going, they're not going to pay us. It's going to eat up all of our resources. I won't be able to do these other 2 cases that I need. He cannot help himself. That's who he is.
And I think it really starts getting to him once he finds out Hector is the White Tiger. Just the whole take the law in your own hands. So he's like probably half talking to himself.
Yeah, but that's kind of the interesting. What I always loved about Daredevil is he believes in the law, but the system doesn't work, so he has to break the law in order to get to get justice for people legally. I just always found that to be just such a fascinating, aspect, of the character. Even prior to, Miller coming on, just, when I just would read it when it was some of the sillier stories, but, the double-edged sword of, lawyer, superhero. What?
Vigilante specifically.
Vigilante. Yes, you're right. Vigilante.
I do like. I mean, the callback to episode 1 when they're sitting in the diner talking, and Kingpin says to him, he's like, because after Matt's like, stay in your lane, he's like, well, who's who's telling me that? He's like, is it Matt Murdock? Or and he lets it trail off.
Like, don't find out, big boy. Just that underlying tension, that seething rage, just so thinly veiled. I love it. I love it between they have such great chemistry together. They really do.
Oh yeah, I think that's a big part why they greenlit to bringing the show back is just the the chemistry between those two characters and the actors.
The actors they're amazing.
Mhm.
And again, Charlie Cox is when you hear him talk normally, he's this British guy. I'm like, what? And same, Tom Holland. These guys, that they're able to do these terrific American accent. I buy that he's a guy from Hell's Kitchen and puts on this outfit. Can do all the things that he does. It doesn't seem unbelievable to me.
That must just be the funniest acting classes. It's like, okay, you need to learn to speak this borough of New York. You need,
Yeah.
Oh no! When you go to acting class, let me tell you about acting class. You have to pretend to be a bush and a tree.
Best case scenario, everybody gets naked.
And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, because when I went to film school, we had to take this little pieces of acting classes, and they were just the most pretentious nonsense. Because I'm like, okay, we're going to pretend to be, some character, and no, it was this ridiculous, kind of stuff. And the thing is, comic book artists, a lot of people don't realize they have to basically act through their drawings for a bunch of characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just getting in the head of one character. They've got to try to write and do that. All this stuff. That's a lot of effort. So the really good ones do such a great job, but it's not easy to it's hard enough as a writer to come up with the voices, but I can't imagine the artists, because they've got their face they can look at in the mirror. But if you don't have a whole bunch of friends to like watch how they move, because when you watch that confrontation scene between Matt Murdock and the Kingpin, the body language of the two of them is so different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because Kingpin looks so much more uncomfortable trying to
niceties.
Yeah, be civil, and you're just like, is he gonna suddenly just jump up and start something, and he doesn't. It's just amazing. It's a master class of acting to watch D'Onofrio. It really is.
Oh yeah, I think they're teasing us with, okay, when's he going to explode?
Right.
Even in the first episode when he walks in Vanessa's meeting, he's like kind of playing with his fingers. You can tell he's kind of nervous.
It's hand acting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did expect him to come in and he didn't. She was the badass in that scene.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, now that we know the history of the Kingpin, crushing guys' heads with car doors and stuff, it's just like, when's he going to explode? When's he going to explode? So, it's coming. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and then we get the whole, I guess, the whole all the pre-trial stuff for White Tiger, and
boy, he is beat up, and the judge is like, no bail for you.
And isn't that the DA?
Why would you even try, bud? A cop? No, why? But he did throw out the fact that he was White Tiger, so that surprised me. I thought the judge was totally bought and paid for.
Yeah, you would think. I think that's what that whole, the whole, no bail in that scene was. But yeah, no, I guess the judge is actually being
they knew that they were gonna, handle it on their own. Either way, too. It's kind of how I took it looking back on it now.
Yeah.
Was it this episode or was it the first episode where they brought the Kingpin some food and they pull it up, and he's got one piece of
Yeah,
asparagus.
that's this
and
episode. Yeah.
And like an omelet, yeah, and he's got like four forks sitting there, and
yeah, but which is again part of the he's trying to be in shape. And was it this episode or was it? I think it might have been the first episode, but it was just a nice little bit, because later
That's to let
I'm
you know he's
like looking at
rich.
the scene because he's eating like a giant sandwich or something later in here. So I'm guessing
Have
he's
you
going to
seen the
gain
price
weight.
of eggs?
I think that omelet, I think that's what he was making like every morning for like breakfast or something in the original series. So some of that was like a little callback too. But yeah, now he's on, super rich mayor. So he has like, it's like, well, which size fork is he going to use today? Aren't they?
The bib is what killed me, though. I'm like, the bib.
Yeah.
And it's something about a man with a bib and a suit gets me every time.
Well, he doesn't want to
Take
mess
off
up
your
the suit,
jacket,
but
roll your
you look
sleeves up.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up the jacket. You don't want to
Like,
have like.
take it off, roll up your sleeves. Don't just put a bib on.
Well, if she's wearing the shirt underneath, you don't want to mess it up.
Take that off too.
Hey, that's just one of the many issues they're going to deal with in couples counseling. Because
Exactly.
Oh, so Matt's going to love that when he finds out. Yes, Kingpin and
Well,
Vanessa
see, again, Kingpin knows.
Oh yeah, he knows who he is. Yeah,
the two of those two are together, so they purposely chosen her, but for what reason? And if they didn't purposely
just
choose
that
her,
damn
it's
good.
stupid.
I mean, yeah, is it blackmail? Which is like, don't mess with me, or I know where she lives, where she works.
But again, Vanessa's ruling the scene.
Yeah, but but those two are kind of, I guess, estranged. So it's like,
unless it's an act.
How much?
Oh, it's an act.
Yeah,
I think they do. I think they are gonna get some. They're gonna realize that they are getting something out of couples count, kind of like Tony Soprano vibes. To be honest, it's like I'll go, but I don't think I'm gonna get anything out of it. And then you actually do get something out of it.
Oh, but the creepiest scene was when BB gets like that quick little like interview with Fisk, and he's like, "Oh, your father's Ben Urich. He was a great journalist." And it's like, yeah, before you killed him, with your bare hands, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. What is everybody's obsession with Vanessa?
What?
Everybody's like, your wife's not showing. Well, she's busy. She's
Well, again,
making power moves, homie.
Again, the title of the episode, optics.
Exactly.
I mean, for real world politics, if the wife suddenly drops out of
well, at least he knows where she lives, okay? Her book was Live Without Fear. Shout out to that.
Heather's book, yeah, Live Without Fear, yeah.
So cute. And then, the talks of masks and personas.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna find out.
So do you think that the young guy is Muse?
That's what I wanted to know.
The guy,
that's who she was gonna go see, and then the Kingpin walks in. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the guy who needs help. He
is
said
that
he
needs
help.
That guy. I'm thinking that must be.
I'm thinking, let's say, yeah.
Oh no! Don't tell me she's gonna get fridged by Muse. I'm gonna be upset.
I fridged somebody. I did. When I was writing Nick Fury, Agent of Shield, and they said, "Oh, we're canceling the book before you can finish your year-long storyline." My part of my storyline was to get rid of Nick Fury's girlfriend at the time, Kate Neville, to give him a reason to go crazy to kill Strucker. And I literally had her. The way the artist drew, I had her in one of those Iron Maiden things that have that closes and has this.
Oh.
And the door closes and the blood oozes out, and Fury's like, "Oh!" Yeah. And, it's like later people were like, "Yeah, people fridging people." I went, "Oh man, I did that. I wanted to get rid of this character. I killed her to give him a motivation." Wow, that
was
sucked.
She a character you inherited that just didn't go with the plot, or?
My original goal was to get it back to where the characters were, I wanted him with Val. So this Neville character had to go. I didn't dislike her at all. I said I needed a reason to, get him really whipped up to really go after Strucker, and I fridged her, and that was had people had talked about fridging people, I could never have done that. But I just, when you're writing a lot of comics and stuff, you go, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I'll take care of this. And then later on, you go, oh, that was a dumbass thing to do it that way.
I think that is
There
one
could have
of
been
the
a better
perks.
way. I mean, and it was almost like a real fridge, which
Oh,
because it looked like a, blam. I'm like, because I had to sew it up quickly. Yeah, bad dude, right?
I think that's one of the perks of modern storytelling, though. Is like I remember, like back in the day, people would literally have to like start from that place and like write for a year to get where they wanted to go. But nowadays, they kind of just, if you want to forget the whole supporting cast from that last one, feel free.
I really don't like that. I pick up where something left off and tell me the stuff, because I had to go back and write a story with that explained, Sandman leaving Silver Sable and going bad, because they wrote a story where, oh, the wizard just convinced him to be bad again. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I did. I wrote a little story that probably nobody saw, but it satisfied me because they got to have their final little chit chat. But yeah, a lot of writers, they just sort of ignore, so they just do stuff, because I just recently read, I guess it was one of the Venom Lethal Protectors, and they had Silver Sable, and they used my character Crippler in it, and they killed him. And I was like, you killed Crippler, but not only that, you didn't write him the way he's supposed to be written at all.
You oh my God, you killed Crippler, you bastards.
I did. I actually said that. I was like, oh man, it's like at least you could have, if you had written him properly to start with. That's the kind of stuff that I don't like when I create characters and then, because I try to put a real voice to them, and then somebody decides, well, I'll just write them however I feel like it. That's not the character. Just make up your own character.
Exactly. Oh my Lord! I'm just waiting for them in this series to bring in Gloriana Breen. I'll be like, that's the character Dan killed. I'll post on social media, like, that's the one Chichester killed.
Well, that's what you kind of like. You want to see what characters are they going to bring in that I liked. It's like most of the characters I like, they do something that I don't like too. It's like, wow, you like Nick Fury? We're going to turn him into Samuel L. Jackson. You like Ben Urich? We're going to turn him into this other guy, and we're going to kill him. It's like, oh, come on. Stop messing with my favorite characters. Just one.
I know that was the big thing from the original series. Like they killed like Urich at the end of like season 1. I'm like, we couldn't give him like multiple seasons before we kill him. Like
man pain, Phil.
Well, again, it worked for the story they were telling. And I liked the series enough. I went, okay, but still, I love Ben Urich. I used to love to write Ben Urich.
Well, they went the DC route. They did that to make Karen a reporter because like DC Comics, all women characters are reporters. So
angry reporters,
angry hot women reporters.
Exactly. With at least one quarter being gingers. That's the formula.
You can't have any female characters in a superhero thing that aren't just literally there for eye candy. So.
You inherit some of those old tropes and you just write around it.
The 90s.
The 40s.
I used to send pictures of how I wanted certain women to look in some of the stuff I wrote, because I was like, I want normal looking women, but I don't want you to pretend that they're not, desirable, because, women of all shapes and sizes are desirable. Which is why I wrote a scene where I had my Crippler character, actually on top of this old lady that probably weighed about 200 pounds. And people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, she's a sexual character. Sorry.
Hashtag deal with it.
Well, I mean, that was the problem with some like 90s books. It's like, every woman character was built the same. Every man character was built the same. Yeah.
It was the same penthouse pet that everybody else drew that month in a pose that no woman can stand in. Or man, do you ever try to stand in one of those poses? You can't.
Yeah, when you're well, yeah, the men and women in the 90s, yeah, like all their chests were huge.
That's true. Remember when it was only Power Girl? I still remember when she showed up as a kid, and I'm like, oh my God. why is she so huge?
They kept getting bigger, and Bill's like the inside joke. They kept getting bigger and bigger.
Talk about an editor who was on vacation.
It was just,
Easy
it
was
was,
it to
you know,
find
but
that
I
white
remember
tiger
that
costume,
noticing
though?
that. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, because I remember asking my mom, how come you don't look like, you know, the way these women are drawn and these women in these magazines? And
Did
my
she
mother just,
smack you?
she explained to me how women come in different shapes and sizes, and I was like, what? Because, you know, because when you watch TV and watch everything,
Oh yeah.
you got men in all kinds of different sizes, but you know, all the women that would be cast on TV show, they all were sort of uniformly pretty, you know, and they all somehow or always had perfect makeup and hair when their husbands came home to bring them a drink. So I thought I wanted to know why my mother didn't do that, you know, and my mother's like, she's like, nobody does that. I'm like, really? You know, like, why don't we have a housekeeper like Alice?
You don't want a housekeeper like Alice. Alice didn't do anything.
You know, well, because nobody does. And I'm like, wow, you know, so I had to, you know, but I asked these questions, you know. My father came home and he made his own damn drink, you know, and I wanted to try it. Go ahead, because, you know, he'd make these whiskey sours. And I was like, ooh, I'm like, wow. Well, that solved my wanting to drink anything until I was pretty much a grown up. So, the 90s, the 60s, the 70s. Back to Daredevil.
But yeah, like we said, I mean, all that pent up rage in that final scene, like when the cops come for the guy Hector saved and gets him out the window. Man, they were ready to rough up a blind guy.
That's why my line.
They
is
were
you
ready to
wouldn't
kill him.
hit a guy with glasses.
That was a great scene. I mean, I think that, you know, because the opening scene was super strong. There was all kinds of good stuff in the middle, and that end scene was just like, wow, that was a great scene. You know, I mean, you could see it right there. You know, he's like, guys, you don't want to do this. You know, and I'm like, well, they're not going to kill him. What's he going to do? You know, and because it's perfect at the very end where, you know, he didn't want to do this, and then the rage, he just screams.
Yeah, because he wasn't going to do anything because they knew he was Matt Murdock. So, but yeah, once they put that gun to his head, it's like, well,
nah, screw it. Make an example out of him. Nobody defends a cop killer around here.
So now I'm like, what's going to happen next? That's how I want every episode to end. What's going to happen next in my head?
And again, those cops can't say anything, right? Because it's like, what are they going to say? What are they going to say?
Oh, nobody can know his secret, my friend. They're not walking out of there.
No, I mean, they're not going to be, you know, what are they going to say?
They got beat up by a blind guy.
Two cops got beat up by a blind guy? Yeah. Two armed cops.
Well, also, he's got to stay under the radar because of Fisk too. So,
you know, I can't wait. You know, it's very, you know, that's a good thing. It's like, you know, because sometimes, you know, a lot of, you know, like the shows that they've been doing on Disney Plus, the pacing is just terrible. And, you know, you kind of force yourself to watch 2 or 3 episodes before it feels like it gets good or you get it. And I go, oh, now I see why they did this, but they didn't catch me. You know, a lot of people dumped WandaVision after an episode or two because I don't get it. Once you get into it for a while, you're like, oh, now I get it. This did not do that. I liked that first episode. The second episode really hooked me. Because
you want every episode to get better, which these first 2 have definitely fed off of each other and gotten better.
You hope for.
We're getting breadcrumbs.
I'm pretty, you know, I mean, I'm guessing if they've already greenlit season 2, they must know. You know,
well, they had the budget for basically 2 seasons, right? Because they were originally going to do 18 episodes, and Disney Plus shows aren't built for that, really, and they just. I was a little upset at first, but like I thought about it from like a business perception and how they were doing all these reshoots and had some second thoughts. I said that's for the better, good, because usually they just go steamroll right through the skid. You know, they actually did step back and really think about what would be good for the fans for a change.
Well, I think they probably have at some point they have to be listening when people are going, this is just the pace is just sluggish. I don't get it. You know, you have to like make it sing, you know, because this is, you know, the Marvel shows, the Star Wars shows, this is the stuff that kept people on Disney Plus. I mean, I originally subscribed to Netflix for Daredevil. And I enjoyed that enough and there was other stuff that I just, because they just kept doing, I'm like, oh, and this one was good. And then this one was good. And then Iron Fist came out and I went, oh. You know, Disney Plus, you know, I signed up for originally because I'm a Disney geek. And but I was hoping they were going to have a lot of old Disney stuff, which they didn't. But then they started having some of the shows on there, and I went, oh, like once the Mandalorian, the Mandalorian was like, that first season, wow, I was like, they really got this. But that's what keeps me on the subscribe to a channel, even if because I've sometimes subscribed to a channel. I'm like, I'm only going to do it for this, and then if they keep having content I want, I'm suckered into paying more from all my streaming things than I was for cable in the first place.
Yeah. I just kind of went on a rant about that. I was like, how many of them? And I end up just watching YouTube anyway. So.
But no, I mean, yeah, I was disappointed when they said they weren't doing 18 episodes for the first season, but I think it might work
think
better.
About budget, story,
well,
pacing.
I think it works better too because Netflix, they were doing like 13 episode seasons, and like some of those seasons, like it would kind of drag in the middle or something. So I think the 2 episodes tonight, I thought, yeah, it moved at a good pace, maybe because they only have 9 episodes, and they're like, okay, well, we got to, you got to.
And they were afforded the opportunity to go longer, not just your standard like 40 minutes, and we don't have a commercial break to interrupt the pace and things like we don't have to plan for that, and that kind of changes the pacing too. You notice the difference between like a superhero TV show, say on the CW, versus here where there's no traditional commercials.
Yeah, like I said, I only got the one commercial at the beginning. I think it was episode 2, this episode. So
yeah, it was just the one that when I went back and looked at the thing, I saw the Andor one again. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for Andor. And that was another one. That was a lot of episodes of Andor season 1. So and I really loved it. Some people are like, it's slow. I'm like, oh, it's not what you're thinking, but so I'm excited for that.
This show's definitely not slow.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I thought it might be though. I thought they were gonna like really try to like like I said, they just kind of went in. Hey, here's the basics, but there's a whole nother show you can watch on your own time.
I think the 9 episodes is helping it. I think because they're actually moving at a good clip here and not just oh, we gotta kill time.
Well, that is it. I don't think there's going to be any padding, but I think you made a point in the previous podcast. They want to be done before Thunderbolts comes out, because at one point there was just too much Marvel stuff out all at once, and it kind of got oversaturated, and people stopped going to the movies. But part of it was, the Eternals suck, so that's a problem, and Shang-Chi wasn't, fantastic, and Quantumania was terrible.
I think they need to know when something needs to be a movie and when something can be a limited run show.
I don't know how you figure that out. I actually prefer the TV stuff because they can get a little deeper into stuff. I mean, I love Daredevil as a series because there's so much more stuff you can do.
And I think Shang-Chi deserved to be a TV show personally.
I think that would have been better. Yeah. They could have done it much better.
And what a waste of Sim Lu, like, geez, man. Like, just one movie, that's all we get.
Well, when you decide, he's been hiding out as a guy that parks cars. I was like, what? That was just stupid. I mean, it's like, okay, well, we'll fix that. We'll have him hang out with Awkwafina because she's hilarious. I'm like, yes, she is, but this is not part of the world that I'm.
It was their attempt at Marvel's Crazy Rich Asians. That's how it read to me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm looking at the schedule. You know why they're getting this done, right? Like we said, Thunderbolts comes out in May. I guess it's a TV show. Ironheart is coming in June.
Yeah, that's fine. Coming out.
Yeah, then Fantastic.
I hope that's good because I like the idea of that character.
Mm-hmm. Then, of course, Fantastic Four movie comes out in July, and then in August.
That's what I'm really excited about.
Fantastic
Four. They messed this up.
They better fix Ben's voice though, as the thing. In the trailer, I'm like, it's just you don't have to make it super gruff, but it just sounds like a regular. It just didn't fit the look.
You need a little intimidation.
I didn't think that either, but someone's giving me their opinion. Shout out to you, Neil Tate. That just makes it all the more tragic that he has like this softer voice, but he looks like he looks like a monster.
I don't know. We'll find out because I love the actor that's playing Ben. He's fantastic on The Bear, and he was good in the Punisher series. He was the microchip.
Oh.
So he was great in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But he's great. The cast it's a really good cast. Even with Pedro Pascal not shaving his mustache. Well, but had John Krasinski had done it, he would have had a full beard.
Yeah.
So as long as they get the
Long
character
live
right.
Ian Greffert and no one else.
I'm just glad Galactus isn't gonna be a giant cloud this time.
Well, we don't know, because maybe that was just a little model somebody was holding up.
Merch. Superheroes in the Marvel Universe make their own merch.
I don't know. I'm hoping they get it right, because they haven't yet. Although I liked Chris Evans as Johnny Storm. I like Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Jessica Alba was so sadly miscast, which is too bad. But anything was better than that horrible, one with the young version of
Fantastic
FF.
Four.
I don't know what
The Muppet Fantastic Four, the Muppet Baby Fantastic Four.
Well, the funniest thing was, the biggest thing everybody was complaining about. Oh, Michael B. Jordan, you're casting a black guy as Johnny Storm. He was the only one that was anything like the actual characters. Ultimately, he was the best part of the movie.
Well, him and Mahershala, what little screen time they gave to him.
It's they went for like a horror vibe, and it was complete. Forgot about the whole family. Yeah.
They ruined Doom, so that was always going to be a no-go for me.
So, I just want a good FF movie.
Exactly.
I feel it. I feel like we got the budget for it.
Well, it was like, I begging for, hoping for a good Daredevil movie, and, we got that horrible Ben Affleck one, and then, Jennifer Garner as Elektra. I'm like, no, you guys are missing it. So when Elektra showed up in Daredevil, I'm like, okay, that's much better in the series. They got it.
Mm-hmm.
So that that's the thing. Still,
that movie they tried to cram
Nick Fury. We'll never see that. We'll never get my old school Nick Fury.
You never know. I mean, David Hasselhoff's still alive.
Oh God, that was so terrible. Oh,
I was
born in Germany, so you watch yourself when you talk about the Hoff.
So terrible. I don't even know. It's like if somebody said, "Well, who would you cast as Nick Fury?" And I'm like, I really don't know.
Anybody?
Who would be. Clint Eastwood would have been great. When he was younger.
I mean, his son looks just like him. He just doesn't have the acting chops.
Kurt Russell would have been great, except for he already played. He was Snake Plissken, and that's all you'd ever see. But yeah, I don't know who you could have cast that would have been able, that would have had that Sam Jackson effect. I mean, Sam Jackson walks on the set of anything, and you're like, yes, I want to see this. He's that guy. They didn't even give him a character. He's Sam Jackson. He looks cool. Yep, I'm in.
Give him the eye patch. Call it a day.
Yeah, and he's very, at least they finally started giving him a character in the movie, and he didn't just have to be Sam Jackson.
Yeah, he wasn't just the guy who came on screen and yelled at Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Yeah, but I still bought it. I'm like, okay, if Sam Jackson's in a movie, I'm probably gonna watch it.
So are you guys into the politics of seeing what Fisk is gonna do as mayor? Like, what do you think he actually is gonna do? Like, I mean, New York's so messed up. Like, one man, no matter how great he thinks he is or how threatening he thinks he can be, you're not beating the machine of the freaking politicians in New York. I'm sorry, you're just not. It's literally historically epic of the corruption and things in New York. So.
Well, I think he's going to implode. So.
Oh yeah, deal with all the politics.
Regret this.
He'll implode before he can. I feel like he actually is trying to be the good guy. Do
you think the commissioner's point was valid, that he was trying to make a legacy for himself and not be a monster? I don't think it's that. I just for the life of me don't know why this Fisk wants to be mayor yet.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Does he have an ulterior motive, or is he genuinely like, oh, I want the city to remember me as
That's the problem. D'Onofrio is such a good actor. You
don't know.
You won't know until it happens.
It's too late.
But that's kind of the thing. It's because he doesn't see. Right now it doesn't seem like he's got this ulterior motive, but he's playing the tough guy routine. Well, I'll just make threats and get things done because that's how things work. Yeah, apparently it does.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of more his Kingpin is kind of more nuanced than the comics, even because in the comics he's an evil son of a bitch. He knows he's an evil son of a
He
bitch,
makes
but
no bones about it.
it's here. It's like I don't think he knows he's an evil son of a bitch. I think he's just like, oh, I can save the city. Why are you in my way? Why I'll do whatever I have to save the city. Why are you in my way?
Well, that's Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom didn't think he was a villain.
Oh no.
He thought, if we did things my way, everything would be wonderful.
I mean, if we would only let him prove it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Doom is like my second favorite villain in all of Marvel. So
there's a crossover right now. I mean, he's kind of
that's a whole nother bag of hammers right now.
Yeah.
It's a very fine balance. You don't want to overuse Doom.
But yeah, I mean, that's how I know D'Onofrio is so great, because like usually something like this, I'd be like, man, I need more Daredevil. I know.
I want a Kingpin shot.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm like, okay. So when I'm not getting Matt Murdock, I'm getting Vincent D'Onofrio.
I need like an office version though of him trying to save, like no more like Parks and Recs. Actually, that'd be more along that, akin to that.
Well, I can't wait for the Punisher to show up. That's
Yeah, I think they said he's going to show up.
They've confirmed it.
Yeah, they said he's going to show up somewhere here, and I think I just saw they just announced. I don't know if it's going to be a one shot, but they said something about a Disney Plus special for the Punisher.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I thought John Bernthal. He's, I mean, he's not as big as you think of the Punisher, but he was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I, of course, I watched all the Punisher movies, and
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of hard to beat Dolph Lundgren. I mean, but I just didn't like him, until John Bernthal came out. I'm like, oh, that's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he was on that list with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio. People are like, yeah, we need his Punisher back.
Yeah, so he's good because I buy the Punisher. He's a messed up character to write because he's basically a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel, well, we're going to make him kind of like an anti-hero. He kills people.
They're mercy bullets. What are you
talking
about? He doesn't care
if he dies. He's not. He'll. So he's hard to write because you can't make him likable.
Yeah.
That doesn't. And that was the problem with Microchip when you would bring, here's Microchip in there, and he's like, oh, he likes Frank. Well, I guess Frank's a good guy, and then Frank goes out and he guts people.
And again, you could, depending on the situation and whether he's competent or not, because again, he could blow away all these low level, thugs, but it's like, they're never going to let him kill a Kingpin.
No, that was one of the things. Like, we're not going to be, we were never allowed to do all kinds of stuff, when we were writing stories, so the Kingpin, Dan did the Fall of the Kingpin, and while he was going to be coming back, no matter what you do. Guess what? We're going to bring this character back again.
Okay. I think Dan even said that, like, other people wanted to use the Kingpin in other books, and they're like, oh, when's he coming back? And he's like, well, he's not coming back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, because people want to, that was a problem, when at Marvel is, each editor was in charge of certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
But if you weren't careful, people would just use characters however they wanted. So, Dan and I worked really well. Dan created the new version of Hydra, and everybody just kept using the old version of Hydra, and the editor never stopped everybody from doing it. It's like, no, this is not. So I wrote stories to fix that, which was just it was mind-boggling. Like Nick Fury, we'll just use him however we want. People would use Silver Sable. Like, can we use any Wild Pack? No, you use this Wild Pack, or you don't use them. Or just use this character. She's not yours anymore. But yeah, they would just do this stuff that would mangle the continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
So, all right, who was the breakout character for this episode? Who's everyone's favorite?
Fisk.
I mean, he did get a bit. I mean, this pretty much was his episode. So yeah.
I like the kid. I like the kid that's in Fisk's camp. That's just an absolute idiot. I love him. If you're an idiot or an operator, he's like somewhere in between. And I'm like, yes, the
Gandolfini kid.
Yeah.
You're trending good. Yeah.
I can't quite figure out if he needs to go or if there's something major going to happen with him.
Yeah, it's like, is he going to be up to something, or is he gonna be like
He's
the
up to
guy?
something.
Is he going to be the guy Fisk kills when he finally snaps? Or I'm just like, are they going to like? Maybe it's not that other guy. Is he going to end up
If
being
you know
mused? Or
anything about politics, every campaign needs a 22-year-old who knows what's hip on TikTok to make your memes. No, and that's the kid. No, honest to God, if you know anything about politics, that's very true. So like, I see it. I get it.
Yeah, but it's like he's been a little too prominent to not to just.
Something's gonna happen. And then he
there's
brings
gotta be
in
something
BB
happening.
too. So it's like, what's going on here?
I'm
And
just
they made
wondering.
a big deal. Oh, we were casting this Gandolfini kid. Okay.
I mean, what if he's Muse and he's killing people, and then he's like, tells the Kingpin, I was doing it for you.
Or maybe he's his illegitimate kid, because he did make a point of asking if Daredevil had kids. I don't know.
Wait, I know who he is. I know. I figured it out.
Hmm.
He's the Impossible Man.
Oh,
The Rose. It's the Rose.
And it's going to take this turn, and it will be at the comedy show.
They did say a comedian was running for a mayor.
oh yeah.
I was like, what is this, Gotham?
There's the whole point. It's just like, oh, anyone can run for a political
It's
office
true.
anymore.
Yes, they can. We had Jesse the Body Ventura as a governor.
Oh yeah, Minnesota. Yeah,
Arnold
Minnesota runs
Schwarzenegger was a
itself,
governor.
though.
Clint Eastwood was a mayor.
Schwarzenegger.
Don't remind me as a Californian. Don't. I wasn't living there, but don't. I would have rather had Gary Coleman. I'm just saying.
Oh my God, that would have been the best.
What you talking about?
Did he actually run?
Yeah. Well, he tried to. He couldn't get enough money for the campaign. Because it's expensive. Politics is expensive.
I think
that's why you wind up a bunch of rich people running the show, and none of the decisions they make hurt them. You get some poor guy in there that every decision that they make is going to screw them over more. They'll make better decisions for the rest of us.
It's like that one congressperson. They didn't he was like literally just a normal millennial, and he had bad credit and couldn't get an apartment. And they were just like they couldn't understand because they'd been there so long and made millions. However, they made their millions. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why you should vote at the local level.
I don't know. Look what happened in New York. Fisk is mayor.
Wow. The whole mayoral election of New York is weird in and of itself.
I'm not in the city. I didn't get the vote. I didn't vote for these people.
It's fascinating, though. I like that the commissioner knows the history. He's like, you ever heard of this mayor? Of course not. You haven't. He lasted for a month.
Was that them trying to show Kingpin's a poser because he was like, how old do you think this desk is? That's
I didn't quite understand what he was doing there. All I know is it was a good way to look at his beat up knuckles.
Yeah,
maybe that was it. Yeah,
I don't know. It's like every once in a while you go, what is that for? Does this mean anything? And then sometimes it did mean something, and then they cut that part out later. That you wonder what's that. It's like I love when when you get the DVD and all the deleted scenes. Like, oh, now that makes more sense.
Unless they explain it later again, maybe he's already going out beating up people, but he's just hiding it better.
I don't know.
I could have sworn
maybe he's just really frustrated with Vanessa, so he's out beating walls.
Yeah. He's frustrated. They're both frustrated, Matt and Gal.
That's dangerous for both of them, actually.
Yeah, but Matt's got a girl now, so.
Good call on McDuffie's part. That's all I'm saying. It's been a year, bro. You're on my last nerve. Just go on a date, bro. See where it goes.
She's like, you're a lot more calmer when you have a girlfriend. So, yeah.
But I can't quite figure out why Karen is so I don't want to talk to you.
Well, I know. She's
the one that held Foggy in her arms and died while he was up there beating up a guy and throwing him off the roof.
Well, when she said Matt didn't talk to her for weeks after that, and maybe she's just like, "Yo, maybe she's mad he gave up on Daredevil."
Yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of one of those. This must come back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hopefully it's not. Hopefully she doesn't come back and get killed. I don't want to see her.
Yeah, I would be devastated.
I'm thinking maybe they might make it look like it's a close call, like she's about to be killed, and he saves her.
Well, she had a gun. Mama can rescue herself. I was like, there we go.
Oh yeah, the first series, man, she killed Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
She's not in stress.
Didn't she show up on Jessica Jones as well?
Was it Jessica Jones? I think she should. Didn't she show up in The Punisher real quick? Because like
I thought
her.
it was the
Punisher. Yeah, I think it was the Punisher. She like befriended Frank Castle, which I thought, this is weird.
His family was killed. He's not a bad guy.
Doing all the wrong things for the right reason, man.
I mean, if nothing else, it's like, well, he needs help.
Yeah, more ways than one.
Mm.
But that's the beauty of the Punisher.
Star of every comic in the 90s.
Pouches and guns.
All right. So, any other final thoughts on this one, or?
Like I said, just keeps getting better. Hopefully.
Oh
got
yeah.
Micah Cuesta directing the next episode too. So, like I said, I really like the directorial execution of this episode. It felt more focused, definitely more solid. So.
Well, maybe this one didn't have as many reshoots on it. It seems like they said the first episode was almost like a brand new episode. I'd read somewhere. I mean, I don't know how much any of that's true, but
I'm definitely pretty sure it was a brand new pilot. So yeah.
Yeah, but they probably had that plot where it's like, okay, Foggy has to die in the first one, and then build the episode around that. And now we just tell a story.
Man pain accomplished,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought this was a solid A for me.
Oh.
Yeah, I give it an A. I'm very happy with this.
Even
though we don't get any Daredevil action.
Well, until the end.
No, but I mean, he's not in costume.
Yeah, he's not in costume. Yeah.
But it was a good build. It was worth it, to wait for that. I thought.
Yeah, I wonder when he's gonna finally put the suit on. Hopefully,
I kept hearing that Kill Bill music.
Oh man, yeah, right.
I think you said it, Greg. It's like, but that white Hector's white tiger costume really wasn't that well hidden. It was basically just in the box under the bed. And sticking out just enough, so what's his face could just like his foot.
The amulet's just out like that. The amulet, the costume, sure, fine. Maybe you're into something kinky, but the amulet,
it's got mystic powers. Yeah, let's just leave it in an unlocked box. Although that was the funniest thing when Matt's arguing his case, and he's like he didn't have his costume, he didn't have his magic amulet, and like everyone's just looking at him like, what? The Marvel universe.
What about you, buddy?
Oh yeah, I'll give it an A. Yeah, again, usually something like this, I'd be like, man, there really wasn't any Daredevil in this. But again, like we said, D'Onofrio chewing up the scenery. No, that's...
Listen, I love a little Matt Murdock, honestly. Although we did get a lot in the last series, but I still love Matt Murdock. He doesn't need to be in a suit to make me happy, because as long as he's kicking butt.
Well, that's the beauty of the Daredevil character. Even in the comics, is it usually you got half Matt, half Daredevil. And they're both it's very satisfying like that, because it's not like Peter Parker can be so dull. Look at me, I married to Mary Jane, and now we're going to complain about the drapes, and look, Aunt May needs our help for two. Much better when he was a teenager in school getting beat up. No, because well, I could kick your ass as Spider-Man, but I can't reveal my identity.
I think if Stan Lee had known how successful Spider-Man was going to be, they would have kept him in college a lot longer, or high school a lot longer.
Probably, once they decided
any movie will.
Giving him Mary Jane and then marrying him off was the dumbest thing. Nobody wanted to work on the wedding issue.
Oh, really?
No, they had to they basically forced Paul Ryan to draw it.
Oh, jeez.
Nobody wanted to do it. After we took Roger Stern off the Avengers, for whatever reason, nobody wanted to work with him except for the Spider-Man editor, who wanted him to come and work on Married Spider-Man, and Roger said no thanks. And then, then he went over to DC and did really wonderful stuff on Superman.
Yeah.
Good for Roger on that one. But yeah, nobody wanted to work on. Nobody liked that. I cringed because I wrote stories with Spider-Man. They're like, you have to do the marriage thing. Why? She doesn't have to be part of the story. So I would have to write a scene with Peter and Mary Jane in marital bliss. And I was like, this just killed my story.
Well, what the problem is too. Again, the '90s start, and McFarlane's drawing a sexy Mary Jane, so it's like,
Well, I mean, she is, but how did Peter Parker get her? No.
He's got a good sense of humor.
And she found out he was Spider-Man.
Well, there's that. Well, I didn't like it when they started drawing, handsome Peter Parker. No, Peter Parker's he's the kid that we could all relate to. Not anymore. Now he's big and buff like everybody else and super handsome. That was Ramita. He started drawing him too handsome. I like, gawky, Spider-Man.
The big thick glasses, yeah.
It's like Tom Holland is perfect, because he pulls off the goofy Peter Parker-ness. Tobey Maguire pulled it off pretty good until he became cool guy in that one movie where it just didn't work. But Andrew Garfield was just way too handsome, and had way too good of hair.
The hair.
Because he did. It's like, okay, I don't believe you're a geek that people beat up.
Shouldn't that mask have smashed down that hair or something?
I don't, because he took the mask off. My hair is perfect. That's what it was funny at the end of the last shot of Daredevil where he takes the helmet off and drops it. His hair's all messed up because it would be. He's sweaty. He's all beat up. I'm like, I like that sort of realistic idea because it would be like that. You're gonna
saves on hair and makeup too, huh?
Poor Charlie Cox. It's like, wow, they don't make you look beautiful for this show, do they?
Well, I think when you're, taking all these injuries all the time, they don't make them too pretty, when you're getting stabbed every episode or punched in the face.
What else has Charlie Cox been in? Because I've seen him as Daredevil. He's got to have been doing more stuff that I just didn't pay attention to.
I remember seeing him first on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
I forget how far in, but yeah, and they actually, he was an immigrant, so they actually let him use his, his accent.
I'm surprised they let him have the beard as Daredevil and Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I just thought, I thought they would make him shave.
I think some of the characters these days, they let them have 5 o'clock shadows and stuff for some reason. I don't know if it's is it the grittiness or it's just oh no, I don't like your chin. Yeah, grow that up.
Oh, but now they can just CGI. I don't like that part of your chin.
Just put a little dot on talk about CGI facial hair, okay? I am a DC Extended Universe survivor, and we will not talk about that.
Where they CGI'd the mustache off of me.
Oh man. Oh, that was just terrible.
Because he had to do reshoots or something in the Mission.
He was doing Mission Impossible.
Well, they didn't want to
his mustache.
So, well, Charlie Cox was more known for being on, in the theater, really, honestly. So, he did some British TV and stuff, but yeah.
I kind of like that sometimes. Yeah, well, there's my superhero actors. I don't know them from a lot of stuff because like Ben Affleck, it was
Christopher Reeves is the best example.
Well, apparently, Cable might be. Is I heard that he's going to be the James Bond for the Amazon series.
Nobody tell Dan.
I think he'd be a good Bond.
Who, Charlie?
No, Cavill, Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah.
I think he'd be a good. Although I was really hoping for him to come to the Marvel Universe as Captain Britain.
They're still working on that. Don't you worry.
I think that would be cool. But I don't know what they would do with it. We'll see. I mean, now that they got the Russo brothers back, they know how to make these big Marvel movies. I can't even imagine how you made Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, now you gotta try to top yourself.
That's just so many characters and so many great moments. It's like, wow, how did that happen? I guess because he also had the actors that have been doing it for a while, so they really know the characters. But I go, wow, I thought they're never going to pull this off.
In 2 movies, you had 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, these episodes went by so quick. I was like, okay, I know this is a good sign because, like, again, I didn't feel like anything was dragging, and I was just like,
Yeah, I blinked and it was done. I'm like, well, okay.
I know the second episode was done. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, isn't this
Yeah,
already?
the second episode went. Was it shorter?
I don't think so.
I think it was I think it was a little shorter because I was
like a
surprised.
minute or two.
No,
The first one was like 53. I want to say 53 minutes and some change.
might have been. Hold on, I think I had that save the times. First one was 58, and it's saying the second one,
58?
and the second one was 47. So
Oh, well, yeah, that's significantly shorter then, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
No
just
wonder
felt
we
like
went
it
by.
flew by.
Well,
You know, the
hopefully
first
they give
one
us more
episode was a
longer
little slower.
episodes.
I'm trying to remember. I thought they said if nothing else, I thought the finale was supposed to be longer too. But let me see. Yeah, episode 3 is going to be 44 minutes. That's going to be even shorter. Episode 4, 52. Oh God, episode 5, 39 minutes.
What?
I don't know. Episode 6, 42 minutes. Episode 7, 40 minutes.
Wait,
Episode
what's the double head, the next double header?
5 and 6. So
So
the
that
30,
makes sense, actually.
the 39 and
Kinda.
the 42. Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah. It's
interesting.
yeah. And then the finale is going to be 57. So
Okay. Awesome.
don't expect all those almost hour long ones every week.
They spoiled us already.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's wrap this again. Everyone, come back next week for episode 3, and I believe Dude Bro right here is going to join us again. Correct, sir?
I hope so.
You're
You're
welcome.
always
I
welcome.
mean,
I'm happy to show up.
if you want in,
Maybe we can get Dude Bro Dan in here, and then
yeah,
that'd be fun too.
yeah.
That'd be funny
He
if you could
prefers
get
Mr.
if you could get
Chichester.
Anna Senti in here.
Oh my
We were
God,
trying, definitely.
you imagine?
She's amazing.
Oh, I've talked to her once or twice. Yeah.
She's like someone. She's so intelligent. It's frightening. You know, I loved her run.
Oh yeah.
You know, to follow Miller. I mean, that's just not a fun idea. But she really took it and made it her own.
Oh yeah. All right. And comic book writer Greg Wright, do you have anything you want to promote?
I think I'll continue to promote the thing that I'm actually working on as we speak. Graham Nolan's Escape from Monster Island. It's out there on it's on Indiegogo, not Kickstarter. It's on Indiegogo. Go out there and fork over some money so that we'll actually get paid for it. But I think we're 25 pages in on that already.
Oh, nice.
Right now it's a very gross page, so it is monsters after.
Does Graham do a podcast or anything? Because I thought I saw something
Yeah,
about.
he does a couple different ones. He's got kind of his own podcast that he does, and then sometimes he does stuff talking about various TV shows and stuff. Then he does one with some of his friends. I don't remember what it's called, the Something Bros. So yeah, he does a lot of podcasts, and he does interviews. He'll have people on talking about comics and stuff because he's like me. He likes a lot of old school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll get people out. He did an episode I think where people were talking about the old strip artists, like Roy Crane and those guys. That was Graham's he's a really good guy.
Yeah, because I thought I saw was it today? Yeah, I think he was talking to Dan about Axel's Infernal. So
I didn't know he was talking to him. But yeah.
Well, he was talking to Dan. I saw it on Facebook or something. So they must have had a conversation.
But yeah, it's he's kind of figured out how to promote his stuff really well. Because now he's actually got several things under his belt. He's started to get the rights back for things that he did independently that other because originally another company owned Joe Frankenstein for they owned the publication rights. Now that was his. Monster Island, he got that back. So at some point he'll get back the rights to the girls from Dimension 13, and then he could put those put all that back out under his Compass Comics thing. But it's funny because you realize just how much work he does that's not making a comic book. because he's, you've got to promote all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
You've got to wrangle everybody doing this stuff, and he's got a few things that he wrote, but he's hired artists to do the work. So he's having to, he's playing publisher, editor, distributor.
That's the downside of doing your own thing. Yeah, you gotta promote it.
Well, you know what? The thing is, he wants to do stuff his way, and he's found a way that he's earning a living that he's happy with, and he's very happy doing all this stuff himself. He likes to do it.
Nice.
So, and but it's a lot of work. It's not like well, Graham gets to get up in the morning and just have fun drawing comics. Well, he's got to do a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
And then he can draw some comics.
Business.
So yeah, but he's doing the comics he wants to do. Which is if everybody could get to just do what they want and earn a nice living, that would be good.
Oh yeah, if you enjoy it, it's like hardly work. Yeah.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people don't have a job that they just really love.
Yeah.
So I always thought I'm so lucky when I was doing this very full time. Wow, I get to do this. Full time. When I was working on staff, I'm like, I can't believe I get to come here every day and talk to these people and look at this art and hold it in my hands.
And there's such a special time of comics too. Like it's just never gonna be an era of like that again. Well,
I was lucky. I was there when a lot of the old school guys were still working in the industry, so I got to learn that. And I was there when the new school started happening. So I was there at a very interesting moment.
Oh yeah. All right. Again, you can find us on Blue Sky. Send us your thoughts on all the Daredevil Born Again. This episode, the first episode, the upcoming stuff, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And again, you can catch more of our stuff on Patreon. Subscribe at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. All right. But again, yes, feedback. And we'll be back next week with episode 3, like right after it airs. The 3 of us. And like we said, we can lure Mr. Chichester in with, bait a trap, and hopefully Dan walks into it.
Just trick him and tell him we're talking about sliders again.
Or we're bashing Carnage or something. No! Tell him we're talking Vaughn.
Oh, there you go.
No. Although we did do that one. We talked Vaughn with him.
He's a big James Bond fan.
Oh yeah, we reviewed Goldfinger with him, yeah. But yeah, thank you again. I know you're working on multiple stuff, so yes, thank you for your time and the late hour.
I'm usually up till like 1 or so.
Oh, nice.
Most nights anyway. So I was like, yeah, I can do that.
Oh, cool.
All right, although I was a little tired earlier, but once I got a couple cups of tea.
Exactly. All right, kids, join us next week. It's better to be with the devil you know than the devil you don't.